So this is how it reads the 27th point. We are ta Tetzave. Aleph Tav. There is an Aleph Tav. Okay. Bnei Israel uyiku elika simen sayitsak katitalam manor le'alot ner kami. And thou shalt command. There's an Aleph Tav. That's Yeshua's signature. The children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure olive oil beaten for the light to cause the lamp to burn continually. So that's if they say, hey, this is Old Testament, these are past, passé, we don't read that anymore, but Yeshua is in here. So that's what we're supposed to see, that he is the Aleph Tav.
That's it gets translated in the Brit Hadashah as Alpha and Omega, so it gets covered over.
Yes. So Alpha and Omega, but he is really the Aleph Tav. That's his signature. Written in Hebrew in there.
The beginning and the end.
Beginning and the end. So in this portion, it's talking about the oil for the lamp. The olive oil, which is used for the menorah, was to be beaten. It is beaten in a mortar with pestle as opposed to squeezing in a press. That's what some people say, because this is a special oil. This is not an ordinary oil that mixed with the ordinary harvest, set apart.
So did they take the olives and beat them in the mortar with the mortar and pestle to get the oil out of them?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a what do you call it? Cold squeeze. Cold press. Cold press. Clear, refined oil, less smoke. That's what they want. The menorah will use the finest oil. Yeshua, at the night before his death, prayed in the garden called Gethsemane. That is the Mount of Olives. It's tied up, right? So that's how they harvest the. That's how they will harvest the olives. They will get a stake in the old days and beat it up. Only the ripe ones that's really ready to be harvested will fall down.
Well, now they have a machine that
They have the machine that
vibrates the tree,
yes.
and all the ripe fruit falls.
Yes, but that's in the old days. That's how they gather the olives. They beat it. In Isaiah 53:5 it says, "But he was pierced for our transgression; he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed." That is our Yeshua. The olive tree. So this is, I like this picture because these are intertwined olive, because someday there will be one family, two sticks mixed together, bind together, right? In Jeremiah 11:16-17 says, Yahweh called you a thriving olive tree, and this is talking about the whole house. Okay, you are a thriving olive tree, with fruit beautiful in form. But with the roar of a mighty storm, he will set it on fire, and its branches will be broken. Yahweh Almighty, who planted you, has decreed disaster for you, because the people of both Israel and Judah, that's why there's two, Israel and Judah, have done evil and aroused my anger by burning incense to Baal. There's probably a deep study on who is Baal and what do they call him this time, but this is why he got angry, because you worship other mighty one except him.
Yeah, it's worship one and God alone.
Yes.
And if we're not worshiping God, then automatically we're worshiping Satan or the adverse side.
Right? So again, as we said, if people will ask who's the olive tree, that is Israel, right? Israel is the olive tree. So the question is, so where are we as people not part of the house?
The ones that didn't fall? The ones that didn't fall yet?
So in Romans,
or the ones that fell?
no, this is the tree itself. So in Romans 11, 17 to 24, this is where we're coming in. It says, but if some of the branches were broken off, and you, although a wild olive shoot, you were grafted in among the others, and now share in the nourishing root of the olive tree. That's us. Do not be arrogant towards the branches. If you are, remember, it is not you who support the root, but the root that supports you. Then you will say, branches were broken off so that I may be grafted in. Some of the original Israel people were broken off so that we will be grafted in. And our prayer will be, thank you, Father, for putting us in that branch.
Excuse me, what he just said just kind of lingered in my mind about the olive that stayed on the tree and the ones that fell off. What is the significance meaning of that?
The gleanings that don't take the gleanings, right?
Yeah.
The ones that fell off were the ones that were supposed to, or the ones that were...
They're ready to be harvested.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you said that, it kind of made me think about what it actually meant.
And probably if we're looking at it, and we will study it later in the Midrash, there's some olive fruit that's not yet ready for harvest.
Okay, all right, that's probably...
But they're still staying in that branch.
And I think that section too is in the Torah where it talks about you leave the corners of your fields, right?
Yes.
And then you leave the gleanings from you don't go back and get them, right? Or the olives of the tree, you don't go back and beat them. You leave those for the widows of olives, the sojourn of the poor, or whatnot.
Oh, I was just wondering, sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
And that's really what we do.
Okay.
We want to dig in and really try to find out what's really it's talking about.
Okay.
So this one here is really, we're talking about the olive tree. So us, as grafted in, this is where we're coming in, to this house. Okay. They were broken off because of their unbelief. And as we read earlier, they worship another mighty one named Baal. But you stand fast through faith, so do not become proud but fear. So for us, we're not, the command is not to become proud that we're grafted in, but we have to be fearful.
We can't rail against our brother either.
Yes. So we're not going to be, anti-Semitic, because this is the warning for us.
Yeah.
We have to be fearful. For if Yahweh did not spare the natural branches, the olive tree, Israel, neither he will spare you. Note then that the kindness and the severity of Yahweh, severity towards those who have fallen, but Yah's kindness to you, provided you continue in his kindness. Otherwise, you will be cut off too. And even if they do not continue in their unbelief, will be grafted in, for Yahweh has the power to graft them in again.
Amen.
For if you were cut from what is by nature a wild olive tree, and grafted contrary to nature in a cultivated olive tree, how much more will these, the natural branches, be grafted back into their own olive tree? And the thing is, he said, if my people will humble themselves, that's where they will be coming back.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the vestment. There's a breastplate. We read about the breastplate, the ephod, and 2 onyx stones, 1 on each shoulder, 6 names on each stones. So that's probably the division, right? And at the mount, wherein they say Yahweh will follow.
All here is even.
Yeah. So the high priest carried the tribes of Israel on his shoulder. That's what he's carrying. And again, this is pointing to Yeshua.
Yeah.
In Isaiah 9:6, that's why we sang this. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty Elohim, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. That's what it's really signifying. That high priest, and we know who is that. He is carrying that onto his shoulder. There's also the Urim and Tumim. It is used by a priest to determine guilt and innocence. So it's probably like a ball that they shake, and then just, oh, what's the answer? Is it yes or no? But Urim is plural form of or. Or in Hebrew is light, and it's aleph. It's spelling it, correcting it, the spelling. Aleph, Vav, and Resh. The letter Aleph was originally an ox head. That meant the strength of the leader. The letter Vav was a nail, and it meant nail, tent peg. See, it's to connect to the bridge, to be bridge. Resh is a picture of the man's head, and literally meant head, beginning, or the head of something. So or Urim, if we're talking about Urim, that's or in Hebrew. And if we're reading the picture letter, the strong leader brings a firm connection to the head.
That's wonderful.
That's the word. So the word light, Urim, teaches us how to find it. It's in Yahshua the Messiah. That's where the light is. The Tumim. So what's the Tumim? When my kids are little, they like Timon and Pumbaa. Tumim and Pumbaa. Tumim. Tumim also has a very interesting connection. It comes from the parent root Tumeh, which is the word for perfect, completeness, integrity, or innocence. So Tumim is actually spelled exactly the same way as Tamim, which is also without blemish, but can also be translated as perfect, upright, complete, or sincere. So perfection is for the Tumim. So Urim is the light, and Tumim is perfect, right? Together, the Urim and Tumim could be said to be the perfect light. Urim and Tumim. So Ephesians 6:14 says, "Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness." So Urim and Tumim is used for judgment. So they will say, the judge will say, what will be my verdict on this thing? So it's giving him the light, and it's a perfect light. So the priest, in Hebrew, the priest is called Kohen. The high priest is Kohen Gadol. So Aaron is the Kohen Gadol, and his sons are the Kohen. So there are people that's last name today are Kohen, Kohen, or they're probably in line with the Levites. Okay. All priests are Levites, but not all Levites are priests. Okay. They're probably going to be doing probably some of them are secretary or probably administrative officers in the function of the tabernacle. Kohat too.
Yeah, they carried all the utensils, right?
Yes. So I cannot be one of those because I'm not part of the Levite tribe.
Right.
Okay. But they wear special garments while they officiate in the tabernacle. So one of the garment is this, and this is on top. It says Kodesh, which is holy, and that one is Yod-Heh-Waw-Heh, Kodesh Yahweh, the golden crown of the high priest. So we can see that they are really wearing, the high priest will wear that, and people are seeing his name even during those days.
It means set apart to Yahweh, right?
Set apart, Kodesh, set apart to Yahweh. Continual burnt offering. It's every day the priest will offer up to 2 male lambs as burnt offering. One in the morning, all day long. Then they will clean it up. And night, they will also sacrifice all night long. And it's going to burn up. And that's what they call the morning sacrifice and the evening sacrifice. There's also the altar of incense. The altar of incense. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, take fragrant spices. And these are the recipe, okay? I'm going to tell you the recipe, but I put it in red. Gum resin, unica and galbanum, and pure frankincense, all in equal amounts. And make a fragrant blend of incense, the work of a perfumer. It is said to salted and pure and sacred. Grind some of it to powder and place it on front of the ark of the covenant, law in the tent of meeting, where I will meet with you, and it shall be most holy to you. The warning is, so you know how it is, right? But the warning is, do not make any incense with this formula for yourselves. Consider it holy to Yahweh. Whoever makes incense like it to enjoy its fragrance must be cut off from their people. That's the one.
Yeah.
So there was a question before, should we doing some? Okay. So this is the answer. Why we don't do it? Because we don't want to imitate the tabernacle, this function of the priest.
I wonder if that's what the Pope uses.
Yeah, I mean, because it says here that the formula was given. It should be an equal part. So 1 scoop of gum resin, 1 scoop of unica, 1 scoop of galbanum, and a scoop of pure frankincense should be equal. 1 scoop, right?
Well, you need to have the Ark of the Covenant too.
Yes, and don't, if you're not part of this, don't be doing it, because you will be cut off.
Just one of those Torah, right? They say, oh, you can't, talking about the law.
Uh-huh.
This law is only for one person.
Yes.
One person on the entire planet at one given time.
Yeah.
So, as we know, we have laws, right?
Mhm.
And not all the law will be applicable to us.
Right.
There will be laws for women. This is a law for Aaron alone.
Yeah.
What can we offer though? Okay, this is in Revelation 8:3-4. And another angel came and stood at the altar with a golden censer, and he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of the saints on the golden altar before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, that's the burnt offering, with the prayers of the saints, rose before Yahweh from the hand of the angel. That's what he's receiving from us, is our prayer. And there was I was in our Facebook, I love Facebook. I learned in my training in Topeka, that really put in my mind is compassion and kindness. Okay? Compassion and kindness. So when people, they told us in our practice, they told us, if people will be talking, just breathe out compassion and kindness for 1.5 minutes. So people will be talking to you, and you will be saying, I'm giving you compassion, I'm giving you kindness. This is something that we should be doing, because our prayers won't be acceptable to Yahweh if we have uncompassion and kindness in our heart. That's why I like what Hannah read. She took that. It's in Philippians 4:8-13. It says here, finally, brothers, whatsoever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. But you have learned and received and heard and seen in me. Practice these things, and the Elohim of peace will be with you. It's saying it has to be true, honorable, and just, and pure, and lovely, and commendable, and excellent. And 10, I rejoice in Yahweh greatly that now at length you have revived your concern for me. So I'm concerned. I'm giving you compassion. I'm giving you kindness. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. That I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstances, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. And I can do all things through him who strengthens me.
Amen.
So with all these things that we have, with coronavirus things that's floating around us, we trust that he will be protecting us, because with his love and with his protection, He will strengthen us. Amen?
Amen.
Brother Michael McLeod, would you close us in prayer?